talk to you now about adjectives and mainly how the adjectives agree with the noun, especially in prepositional case. So, we've already talked about the fact that in languages, such as in Russian, nouns are boss. Everything has to agree with the noun. If the noun decides it's going to be feminine or masculine, whatever it is, the adjective has to agree as well. So we've already seen this in nominative case. Remember, nominative case is just the normal case. It's what everything is until something comes along and changes it. So, I have a nice whiteboard here. We've seen this. Let's say the word nowe, a new word we have learned, because it means new. So, a little bit sloppy, but nowe, right? This is the masculine ending. You could say nowy stół, nowy ryuczak, whatever. But if we wanted to say the new female student or the new book or something that was feminine in Russian, we would have to change the ending, right? So the nov may not look exactly the same, but the nov part stays the same. What changes is this last part. Uy becomes ya, right? We've talked about this a few times. And for the neuter, like if we were saying new window, it's o yeah, novoye, novoye, новое окно, новое платье, something neuter, right? So we've done this. The adjective always has to agree with the noun. Well, this is also true in other cases. Russian has 6 cases, and we've only discussed the nominative case, which is just the normal, right? N for nominative, N for normal. It's what everything is until something else comes along to change the case. So, for prepositional case, we've looked at it a little bit as well, but only with nouns, right? We haven't done any adjectives with it before. So let me show you something. First, let's remember what it is with nouns. We often use it with v. Do you remember what v means? Yes, well, hopefully you remember. It means in, right? V is in. There, another word we can use it with is na. Na. And na means on. V and na. If you, well, as you might come across later, there are some nouns in Russian that can only use na. They can never be with v. But for the most part, remember, v means in, and na means on. So, now, let's remember when we use it with a noun, right? Like, I live in the snake, or something. We take the ending and we change it just a little bit, right? So we know that it's in prepositional case. This is neat. It's hard to get used to because it's a different way of thinking, but it's neat because you don't have to worry too much about the order your words go in. Okay? So, let's do an example or two, and then I'll show you how to do it with the adjectives. So first, pick a word. Oh my. It's so hard to think of something. Let's just do kot. Okay? Kot. So, kot, whichever way you like to write your T, but kot. What happens when you want to say in the cat? You say v, and then you say kot. Yeah, коте, да? Помнишь, да? Хорошо. В коте. The same thing if it were on the cat, it would be na коте. Okay? But котye, the ending has to change because it's in a case. Remember that if it were like a feminine word, like dog, Sabaka. It's hard to write kind of upside down. But sabaka ends in a in our normal nominative case, so we know it's feminine. Da? Okay, so we cross off a and we add ye. Sabakya. V sabakya. Na sabakya. Now notice when we had kot, it just ended in a consonant, so we didn't have to take anything off. But here we had to take off the a. What do you think would happen if you had the word like akno? Well, it doesn't end in a consonant, right? It ends in a vowel. O. So you take that off and you want to add yeah. Okay? So prepositional case for nouns is pretty simple. You add yeah to the end. But for adjectives, it's slightly harder because they have a two-part ending, right? Okay. So now, say that you have, let's do the same idea. In cat, but let's say in the green cat, okay? So we know v, and we know kot, and kot is going to end in yeah, because of v for the prepositional case, vkotia. So we want to put an adjective in here to say I think I said green, in the green cat. Okay, so what is the word for green? Zelione, da? Zelione. Technically, we have our yo there, zelione. Now, first, remember, nouns are the boss. So, what gender is kot? Just from nominative case, you know what it is. It's masculine. Okay, so we know that we need this to be masculine, which it is right now, right? Zelione is masculine. But we see here it's in a case as well. And so the adjective must agree with the boss. And the boss says it's in prepositional case. So the adjective must also be in prepositional case, and it's not here. So let me show you what the ending is. We take off oi, and for masculine, we add om. It's the same ending for neuter as well. Okay? V zelionom kotia. So, I told you the same as a neuter. What if this word was akno instead? Well, akno in the prepositional case, in the window, is aknya, right? Do I have to change this? Yep. Don't have to change it because this is the ending for masculine and neuter objects, okay? To describe them. So it's the adjective ending in prepositional case. Whew, that sounds like a lot. But let me help you a little bit more. Alright, so say here we have, I'll draw you a little chart. Remember for our nominative case adjective endings, we had oi for the masculine, aya for the feminine, and oya for the neuter. Well, in prepositional case, oi, we just mentioned, becomes aya becomes oi. Oi, я забыла. Oi is a little phrase in Russian that they say sometimes. It sounds it's used kind of like oh in English. Oh man, okay. Oi, oh. Okay? And then the neuter, I also already told you, is again. Okay? So there's really not a whole lot to learn here, but I know you might still feel a little confused about when to use them. So let's do just a little bit of practice and we'll practice more tomorrow. Alright, almost done here, guys. Hold on. All right. If you were here with me, I'd ask you, hey, what's a noun that we know? But I'll try to think about it myself. Okay. Here's a word we know, or we should know. It's a new one. Mica. Mica. It's t-shirt, right? Or undershirt, tank top. Those are all a mica. So this is just nominative case, your normal case. What gender is it? It's feminine, right? Mica. It's feminine. So if we wanted to put it into prepositional case, we wanted to say in the shirt. What's our in? V. And we'll add an adjective here in a moment. But Mike, what happens to the word mica? Mike, yeah. Молодец. Hopefully. Hopefully you got it right. Okay, so Mike, yeah. Now an adjective. Let's do old. We haven't done old yet. So old is star. Oi. Stari. This is a te. Okay, it looks a little funny on here, but stari. Now, remember, nouns are our boss. So look at your noun. We discussed already that it's feminine, but it also has a case. What case is it in? Prepositional. Prepositional. That's the case we use with right? To say in. So this here, first of all, it's masculine. And secondly, it's not in prepositional case, right? So we got to change our ending. Oi, goodbye. Пока, до свидания. Okay, now what do we want to add instead? Well, if it were just nominative case, we could add ja. But we see it's in prepositional case. So we add instead oi. Oi. Alright? Can you see? Staroj. В старой майке. В старой майке. Let's do another example. So, be sure you have some notes so that I can have proof that you have watched this. Okay? If you hadn't been taking notes, take this down now. Okay? V means in. Na means on. Now, to put an adjective into prepositional case, remember that the masculine and the neuter adjective endings end in and the feminine oi. Oi. That looks like an ah. It is so hard to write upside down. Okay. Oi. Still a little sloppy. Well, you get the idea. Alright. So let's do an example down here. Let's use na this time. Let's say na and what's another word we know? Платье. Yeah. Terribly written upside down. But платье. Платье means dress. Excellent. It means dress. And it is what gender? This is nominative case right here. Just the normal case. What gender ends in yeah? Neuter. So we need an adjective that is in prepositional case and is neuter. Okay? We know that because nouns are boss, and this is a nominative, well, actually I wrote it in nominative case, I just wrote платье, but it, because we put na here, look, we didn't even have to change it because it already ends in yeah. So I guess technically you could take off one yeah and add another one, but same deal, right? Why do the work? So, платье. Na, yellow. Yellow. In the yellow dress. Jolt. What ending do we want? на жёлтом платье. So hopefully this has made some sense, and if not, hopefully it's got your mind thinking, and we will practice tomorrow, and hopefully it'll make more sense. Alright? Пока!